Welcome back to the second video today. Last video we ranked the characters of Fear Street. Now we're going to be ranking the kills of Fear Street. Now, I'm going to show you them all first, okay? I'm going to show you a couple. I'm going to show you some first, and then I'm going to show you some, and then I'll talk about them, and then I'm going to show you some more, talk about them, show you the rest, some more, and talk about them. So I'm basically going to show parts of them, show the first four, talk, show the next four, talk, show the next four, talk, and then until I get to the number one spot. So let's start off by showing you the kills. So first up we have 5 off-screen deaths of characters called Sean, Jess, Rod, Stacy and the Widow. As you'll notice from the last video, they were near the bottom. And here is one. Here is going to be the kills. So let's go through each one. In 19th we've got Sean, Jess, Rod, Stacy and Widow. And the Widow killed. We've got Jeremy. In 18th we've got Jeremy. In 17th we've got Ryan. In 16th we've got Peter. In 15th we've got Nurse Betty, and in 14th we've got Heather. So let's get into the ranking.
Just stay put. I'll check if the counts are good. Hey, we need that.
Don't mind it being dark. This is Sean, Jess, Rod, and Stacy.
Maybe we should just leave. Shit. So tell me.
So those are a lot of stuff. So those were the deaths of Sean, Jess, Rod, Stacy. Let's go on to the next one. And 18th. We have the character of Jeremy.
Sunny Bailers? These and...
Okay, you ready? Let's go with this girl right here. This is of Jeremy. So he's left alone, and you can probably tell what's happening next. You can probably tell the main character is going to appear.
Tommy? Alright, next question.
Okay. So that was the first two. I need to show you so 19th is not done yet because I need to show you the Widow, which is not going to show you what happened, which is going to show you the aftermath. Wait, it will take a while. Trying to get. Okay, here you go. This is it. So this is Sarah Fear or / Dina. You can't see. Yeah. hard to see. Sorry about this. This is happening. It's weird. It's weird. Oh, seriously. Come on! Phone. There you go. So that was 1918. That was 1918, so like I said, now we're going on to part 1. Now we're moving on to part 1. And these are the deaths of... So first up we're going to start with the death of Ryan. Of Ryan, which comes straight after Heather's, but Heather's will be shown a bit later. Now these ones here, the one that I've just mentioned, are deaths that aren't great, but they're not bad. So that was Sean, Jess, Rod, Stacey and the widow who were killed off screen. Jeremy, who was hacked down off screen by Tommy. I'll get back to... there you go. Okay, here you go. That's my Hawk right there. There you go, that was Ryan getting dead, getting killed. Okay, next up is going to be... Okay, so we're going to show you the next death next death on this list, which is another standard kill. None of these kills are that impressive.
You have always been, so don't blame me. Congrats on getting out of Shady Side, Sam. All you had to do was suck it up, literally, and swallow some sun. You know what?
That's Peter. There's the guy who's about to get killed.
I never want to see you again. Great. Have a nice goddamn life.
So that was Peter getting stabbed in the back by Skullface, Ryan Torres, like I mentioned. Next up we have another murder, which is coming up literally any minute now. This is of one of the nurse Betty, stabbed in the neck by Skullface. I'm also going to rank another one of the nurses.
Get back together.
I'm also going to rank another one of the nurses along with Nurse Betty, because I forgot about her before I watched the film. So, here you go, here it is. Sorry about the mirroring. Sorry about how you see. You can definitely see them clearly. You can definitely see them clearly. just going to say this now. There is no way in hell that Olivia Scott Welch was able to do that scream. So I'm guessing something was put in. Something was something. Now for Heather, it's a pretty long. So let's just show you that's Kate, who you'll see out there. Who you see there. It's not. This is the light. So let's stop for a second. I'm now noticing it's not anything else. It's not the phone. It's the light. It's the lighting. Hopefully that will mean it doesn't. Stuff doesn't. Oh, that's perfect. Sorry if the earlier kills were not that. Sorry if the earlier kills were not that noticeable because of the mirror of the. You can see the phone. You can see the phone you could see this phone in the phone. You could see the phone through the screen, and you could see the fan through the screen, and it was annoying. So now it's better. It wasn't anything. It was the lighting in my bed. It being not just the light outside, but also when you have light, it affects off. I will be seeing more of Maya Hawke. Not in this. You will be seeing. If you watch anything, you will be seeing more of Maya Hawke. Not in this film. Obviously, because I'm showing you Heather's death, Ryan's death happens straight after. So you'll see Ryan's death again. You'll see Ryan dying again. But Ryan does come back. With the Shady Side Killers, they can get killed, but then they revive. They can't necessarily get killed permanently, but they get killed temporarily until they revive themselves because of being cursed by the devil. The devil, when the Shady Side Killer is killed, the devil will then bring it back to life. That's what so Ryan's death and Tommy's death aren't permanent deaths. They're temporary deaths until they are then revived by the devil. That's why. But I'm still counting them as deaths because they died and then they came back. They died before they came back. So that's why they're still counting. Now let's have a chat. Now these are low at the bottom because they're just standard deaths. They're not they're not too complex. They're not too scary. They're just. Sean, Jess, Rod, Stacey, and the widow are killed off screen. That's why it's just at the bottom, because getting killed off screen is boring. Even though with the widow we did see the aftermath. We saw the aftermath for all the off-screen kills. The reason why Jeremy's kill is above. Jeremy's kill is in 18th, not 19th, because unlike the kills in 19th, the kills in 19th were off-screen, and we don't know what off-screen with sound design. Were off-screen. The Sean, Jess, Rod, Stacey's death were off-screen, but then we saw the aftermath. The widow's death was completely off-screen, and then we saw the aftermath. For Jeremy, we saw the aftermath, but he was a much more substantial character than Sean, Jess, Rod, Stacey, and the widow. So that's why he's higher up. Brian, Peter, Nurse Betty, and Heather. There's nothing separating these four as characters, but Ryan's death is the most simplistic. Ryan's shot by a cop, which is not the most impressive, so that's why it's in 17th. It's the least impressive out of the four, so that's why it's 17th. And 16th is Peter getting stabbed in the back by Skullface. That's second to last in these That's in 16th. In 15th we have Nurse Betty stabbed in neck by Skullface, and then we've got in 14th Heather. Heather's death out of Heather, Nurse Betty, and Peter and Ryan is top, because it's so Ryan getting shot by a cop is simplistic, not great. Peter's is a bit better. Nurse Betty's a lot better, is better than both, but then Heather's is better than all three of the ones previously. So it's in that specific order, because it's from getting shot by a cop to getting stabbed in the back to getting stabbed in the neck / throat, and to be getting stabbed in the gut multiple times by Skullface. In 13th we have Alice. In 12th we have Pastor Cyrus Miller, and in 11th we have Henry, Constance, and 10 other people killed by Pastor Cyrus Miller before he was killed. So Alice has an axe to her chest by Tommy. The pastor has a rake thrusted into her body while being possessed, and Henry, Constance, and 10 other people are killed by Pastor Cyrus Miller when their eyes were bulged out. So we got a death / murder from the second film, and we've got a death / murder from part 3. So we're going to go into Alice's death.
What about you and your sister? You guys ever get along?
So Alice's death happens after a little chat between Cindy, Alice, and Ziggy. There you go. Simple axe to the chest. Next up we have Pastor Cyrus Miller and his murders. His murders are higher than his murders of Henry, Constance, and 10 other people are higher than his death, because more gory, really. Henry and Constance have their eyes bulged. Henry, Constance, and 10 other people have their eyes bulged out, so they completely don't have their eyes. Whereas Pastor Cyrus Miller has a rake thrusted into his body while being possessed. But having your eyes bulged out is much more gory than having a rake in your side. So we're going to get to that. Now, don't mind their Scottish accents. They're bad 1666 accents, because they're not the best. They're not great accents. Here you go. Or was that a pitch? Actually, sorry, wrong thing. It's a pitchfork. I don't know if they would have had brakes back in 1666. That's my point. That's Benji. That's Benji Flores Jr. who played Josh's character in the 66. This is Henry, also played by Benji Flores Jr. who played Josh, and he's killed off early in this film. And Ziggy and Constance, who played by Sadie Sink, who played Ziggy, is also killed off in this scene. And you just saw them. They had their eyes on. Same with Pastor Miller. Pastor Miller's technically already dead because he had his eyes bulged. Technically, yes. So that's even though Pastor Cyrus Miller had his eyes bulged out when he killed them. It's still his kills, the kids that he had in front of him with their eyes bulged out was much more gory than Pastor Cyrus Miller. But Pastor Cyrus Miller, so that's Pastor Cyrus Miller's kill, and his kill and his kills of Henry, Constance, and 10 other people are more complex than Alice's acts to chest. But the reason why Alice's death is higher than the ones below is because this was of a more impactful character. Now we're going to go from 10th to 5th, and then we'll do the top 4. So we're going to go. Now let's go from 10th to 6th. So in 10th we've got Nick Good stabbed in the eye with knife, courtesy of Dina. We have Ziggy in 9th, taken down by one of the killers in her last stand with Cindy, but revived in 8th. We have Cindy's death, the same. I mentioned how she was killed earlier on. We then have in 7th Arnie has his Tommy, the girl who gets cursed in part 2, crushes an axe into Arnie's skull repeatedly. And in 6th is going to be Joan, one of the axe characters, who has an axe smashed across her chest and jaw. It's then split open and bleeds out from the blood. So let's do it. Let's start off with Nick Good. I'm just going to show you what I mean by I'm going to show you what I mean by the killers can get killed, but only temporarily. This is how they can get killed, but only temporarily. The curse, when they get killed, the devil revives them because they are shady psychics, and they're basically immortal. They're basically immortal, but they can die, but then they just come back to life. But they still count as death because they died, and then they did die before they came back. So they still count as death. This is what I mean by that they can revive if you get killed. See, they just come back to life. They've just been attacked and they're back there now. They've just been attacked and they're alive. So this also leads to the death of Nick Good. See, they just come back to they just fix this. They just revive. The first example of them being killed but then reviving is in part 1. No, in part 1. So let's go. Let's continue with this death. I can't show you. The makeup is. In this scene there is some of the characters are shown with the makeup from their with the makeup on the given based on the way that they were killed in their films. But it gives it gives the kills higher up on this list away, and I don't want that to happen. Especially Kate and Simon, because I don't want you to know how Simon and Kate died, because you could probably tell from the makeup how they died. You just have to look carefully. and see what they could have died from. But like I said, because Nick Good was killed, the curses was ended and the killers disappeared. Next up we have, luckily 9, 8, 7, and 6 are all kills from part 2. So that's where we'll go next. Yeah. So we're going to start off with Ziggy and Cindy in 9th. No. I saw it's backwards. I don't really know. You can't see them. I don't think them being backwards takes away from the deaths. You can still see them very well. But this is a long and lengthy scene. Oh no. Actually guys, you guys might have already seen Kate's death in part 1, because I remember I did in my review I showed you the kill, so that might have spoiled it for you. But you don't know where it might have been placed, because you didn't see any of the other kills in this franchise. So maybe there was a kill better than Kate's. But then let me just give it away. Let me just say what her death is. If you watch the review before you watch this, you probably know that she was killed by using a bread slicer. But some people really want to watch that video before they watch this, so you're going to see it. If you haven't watched that video before you watch this video, you are going to have your first look at the kill in this video, depending on where it finishes. And like I said, there could be a kill in this franchise that is even better than getting killed in a bread slicer. So yeah, Cindy and Ziggy in their last stand both die. Cindy permanently dies. That last stab to her chest was it for her, but Cindy is revived. You'll see the twist coming up.
That was July 19th, 1978. 5,937 days ago. My sister was dead. So was I.
And that's the young version of Nick Good. And you see why Nick Good revived her? Because he knew about the curse. He was the one who cursed Tommy Slater, and he was also the one that cursed Ryan Torres. Oh. And if you're going oh, and if you're going oh in the comment section, if you're going oh when you watch the video, yes, that's a big shock. So yeah.
In those days, I wish I had stayed dead.
there is the twist. Cindy C. Berman is not Cindy Berman, but Ziggy Berman slash Berman. Fred. Oh yeah, she asked where's my sister, and my sister obviously died. But like I said, Ziggy and Cindy both die at the same time, but Ziggy is revived when Nick uses chest compressions and mouth to mouth to bring her back using CPR. By bringing her back with CPR. Next up is going to be, yet again, like I said these kills. So next up we have Arnie, who, like I said, has an axe crushed into his skull, who has axe thrashed into his skull repeatedly, and we have Joan, who is split open across the chest and jaw, and then bleeds out from her death.
What? See, you can't even say it.
We're the only one there.
I need to show you something. They marker. You mean like fairy stuff?
Oh, I paused it.
Tommy, this isn't funny. Why do you think I carved your boyfriend's name into solid stone with my fingernails? Someone else did this.
That's the curse, by that's the shade. That's the good curse, by the way. See, Tommy is was just a regular person. He was a good boyfriend to Sydney. He was a good guy, and then he's cursed by the good curse, which is what I'm calling it. It's not the shady side curse. Well, it's the shady side curse slash the good curse. He's just a normal character. He's just a normal person, boyfriend to Cindy, and he's possessed and he's unfairly possessed, and he goes on to killing people. That's the main story. Every couple of years, a good from every generation curses a shady sider to become a murderer, and then they murder, and then they have a murder spree, and then they die, and then they were brought back through the curse. Just continuing. The curse just continues through every generation, and every generation a good curses a shady sider who becomes a murderer, and goes on a murderous killing spree. Oh, and by the way, part 2 also has a sex scene. And yet again, like I said in the last video, or maybe in this video, like I said in the last video, is having sex in a horror film. Not only is if you have sex, not only is a trope, is a horror movie trope that if you have sex, you get killed off, but it's just too repetitive.
Sunny Baylors are really missing out.
And this sex scene was between the cat to the Kurt and Joan. Joan, who obviously, like I said, is about to get killed. Yeah, these deaths still really aren't that easy to see, but hopefully you can see these. Hopefully you can see it. I'm trying to see what charge my phone has. My phone's going to be running out soon, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to plug it in, and I'm going to have to start. Oh no, that's the only problem is. From now on, I'm just gonna have to literally, because my phone's gonna be on charge while I'm showing you the kills. The screen, my iPad screen, is gonna be like at a slight angle, so you can actually see the entire screen. So these deaths are very good. Nick Good's bracket is killers at the bottom of this 10 to 6 bracket because it's just like a character that I didn't really like that much. I liked him, but not that much. In 9th, it's going to be Ziggy and Cindy. Ziggy's death is lower than Cindy's death. It's lower than Cindy's death because Ziggy dies and then gets revived, but Cindy dies and doesn't get revived. So Ziggy coming back to life through CPR performed by Nick brings her kill behind her sister's. Because her sister was killed and wasn't revived using CPR, whereas Ziggy was killed and was revived using CPR. Arnie's is above those two because I feel like I just like Arnie's kill. Arnie was a character that I didn't really know. We didn't really know much about. He was just all we knew about him was he was the boyfriend of Cindy's best friend Alice. But still a very good death, if I'm being completely honest. And we also have Jo. She had an axe smashed across her chest and jaw after being split open across her chest and jaw and bled out, and then she bleeds out. Next up, now we're going to cover 5th and 4th. In 5th, we've got Tommy, temporarily decapitated by Ziggy, but returns with head plate in place. Even though Tommy was revived because he, being a shady side killer, it was still a very good death. And in 4th is going to be Seraphid, killed via hanging after being accused of being a witch. Obviously, we find out in the end that she wasn't a witch, she was just a normal person, and that Good was the evil person, was evil. Whereas we find out that Seraphid wasn't evil, she's just a normal shady sider who was accused of being a witch. So let's go and let's get into the 5th and 4th. So let's go. What was it? It's a kill from part 2 again. There is one scene that I want to show you before I get to Tommy's death, and that is the iconic this completed his transformation from normal boy to shady, from normal guy, boyfriend of Cindy, to murderous shady side killer. Each killer has a unique feature, and the shady side, the Nightmare Killer's unique feature is a sack. Obviously reminiscent of Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. That's the origin of how Tommy got his sack. Now McCabe Sly, the actor who plays Tommy, said it was very hard to play a killer with a hot sack, or with a hot mask being a sack.
It wasn't even. I know the pain. Can I get out?
It's going on long, but I'm okay with that. And what's making them go on for so long is the kills. It's me showing you the kills from when they happened. It's showing you the kills on this list. When I mention what position they were. I think this is it.
Alice.
I think this is it. Let's unplug this. It feels like it's got a good charge. How they form. That's Ruby Lane, by the way. That's a really good look of Ruby Lane. The killer of Ruby Lane. Wait, did it come earlier? Oh, it came earlier. The kills, the Tommy's. No. Wait, who was Tommy killed by? Oh, it was by Ziggy. Trying to find the death of the Ziggy's killer of Tommy's temporary death. I can't seem to find it. It's just after Ziggy has put sack on Tommy's head. And then we got his sack head around the 29. Apparently he was killed. He was definitely killed in these films. I swear, Ziggy literally decapitated Tommy earlier in the film. I don't know where he gets his head decapitated. I swear she was literally. Wait, so Tommy has his axe decapitated.
Fucking
Yeah.
my friend is. And now I found it. For Shady's sake.
Oh, here you go. And I think it was wrong. It was actually by Cindy, not Ziggy. Now it works. There you go. Oh, it happens as soon as Alice is killed. Yeah, it's by Cindy, not Ziggy. See, has his head decapitated, but then he has his head decapitated, then Alice dies, and then literally after they go to where Cindy got out from the space spot underneath, and they go over there and they see Ruby Lane. You see, as soon as while Ziggy's running away, Tommy grabs her leg. This is going on longer than I expected, but still. Oh. You know how Tommy had his head just decapitated? Well, here's what happens once they shake his side. Look at that. He's back running at them with his head on. See, he was decapitated by Cindy, but then because of he's a Shady Side killer, he's revived because of the Shady Side curse and because of the devil. Basically they're immortal. They can die, but then they come straight back alive. Yeah, so the Shady Side killers can get killed, but as soon as after they get killed, like a minute or a few seconds or a minute after, they come back to life with nothing wrong with them. So like Tommy, just a couple of minutes ago, had his head was decapitated, and a couple of minutes later, his head's back on. That's what happens with the Shady Side killer. They get killed, but then they come back to life. They're basically immortal. They can die, but they can come straight back. Yes, being immortal means you can't die, but they're almost immortal. They're half immortal. In fourth, like I said, it's going to be Sarah Fear, killed via hanging. The reason why this simplistic death is so high up is not the impact. It's the sadness. It's the sadness in her friend's eyes when she's being hung. There it is.
The truth will come out. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. But it will. You have just leave.
Yeah, she's killed, and then Isaac, Abigail, Lizzie, and Hannah.
She deserves a proper burial.
So she dies, and then Lizzie, played by Julia Wayvout, Isaac, played by Fred Heschinger, Abigail, played by Emily Rudd, and Hannah, played by Olivia Scott Welch. Then do a burial of Sarah Fear's remains and body. Years later, a lot long, and then many years later, the 1994 gang find the remains of Sarah Fear. And that's how it started all this thing. Sam disrupted Sarah Fear's grave where Lizzie, Abigail, Isaac and Hannah are burying her right now. And then the killers come back to life and everything kicks off.
Let's move her. Bury her somewhere else. So no one knows where she is.
Except us.
And because this was decades and because this was because this was years and years and years ago, over those couple of years, Sarah Fear's dead body decayed. Like all dead bodies do over time.
Show me your curse.
So even though there was a shady side curse and a good curse, technically there was also a curse on the good family. So the good created the shady side / good curse, but the real Sarah Fear, the Sarah Fear that was killed, the Sarah Fear played by Elizabeth Scopel, not by Kiara Madeira in 1666, that curses good, just like how good the curses the good family, just like how the good family curse shady side. Okay, so there you go. We're going to go quickly through because I really want to get this over an hour, but I don't want it to go for too long. In third, we have Gary decapitated clean with one shot by Tommy, and then I will get back to so I'll show you that death, and then I'll move on to the next something else. Here you go. This is Gary's death.
Now.
This is probably this according to McCabe's side was his favourite death to pull off, to take part in this second film, and I have to agree with him. It's probably the coolest death in the second film, not of all time, because third, not second, not first. It's third, not first. Speaking of second and first, let's wrap it up by showing you those deaths. So Simon's death is not going to include his death. We're also going to show you I'm going to have to try and get the right spot. And because of that, I'm going to have to mute my phone as of temporarily, so I can get to the moment that Simon gets killed without showing you Kate's death. If it's at full volume, you can't. My phone is at full volume, which means you can only hear the deaths, the reaction to Kate, of Simon and Josh to Kate's death, but you can't actually see the death of Kate. So that was Simon's death. He had an axe thrust into his head, courtesy of the knife killer. We got 4 minutes, and now now we're getting in to the number one kill of Fear Street, in my personal opinion. Not just on impact, but how good the character was and the quality of the death. You guys are going to get grossed out a second time if you watched my review when you saw this, the murder of Kate. If you watched that video, you saw. If you watched that video, so if you watched. So if you watched that video, you saw Kate's death before this video. If you watch this video after you watched my review, then you would have seen his death already before. So oh, come on. We're going to start off by showing you the first bit of damage to Kate. Come on. Come on, please, I need to get this. This is just, no, come on, go! Oh, come on, I really need, okay, go! There you go. There you go. It's the first bit of damage done to Kate by courtesy of Skull Mask. There you go. That's her murder weapon. The bread slicer / meat grinder. The first bit of action. The first bit of damage to Kate is cake in her face. It's not really damage, but the first thing leading up to Kate's death is the cake in her face. Then it's this. You can score the shot. Then she gets stabbed. They had to get the consistency of cake and flesh, and they had to get the consistency of cake on her face. They couldn't put too much cake on her face. They couldn't put too little. They had to put just the right amount of cake on her face for this to be great. I could show hear the actions. Subscribe to my channel, hit the bell. I'll see you next time. Hopefully you've enjoyed. And until I see you next time, I'm out. Peace. Bye.